Mikey, we're at the finale, the end, the finish line of us covering the initial topic of the most popular locale ever, Chris Chan.
Ugh,
And
finally.
before we hit that finish line, we're going to hit some speed bumps that are disgusting. And it just makes, fuck, like, this person's a real person.
Yeah, they all are somehow. I don't know what causes people to jump off the rails this far.
Autism or drugs.
Fair.
Banana Bear Show.
For the viewers that have autism,
Yes.
not everyone with autism is like this.
Yeah.
However, sadly, Chris Chan is the poster child of people first being introduced to autism. So a lot of people think that, oh, if you're autistic, you're like Chris, but Chris it has other problems, and it just sucks because that community is they're fine. They were born with a condition in their brain, and it's not Chris Chan should not be a poster child for anybody, let
No.
alone for a mental. Uh, it's not a disease; it's a mental function.
Yeah.
But so when we left off, Chris Chan is now Christine,
Mm-hmm.
and as Christine, uh, he started getting, and we left off at the whole. He was gonna get um help from some trolls that were hurting him because he did have the idea guys kind of mess with his brain.
Yeah, they
Uh,
messed him up real bad.
so I don't have all the videos, but there are some of him going to conventions. There's one time like where he just started hugging people and kissing them,
Ew.
things like that. And then he was thrown out. So he went to the fetal position, made a big hassle. That was one thing. Another thing he did as Christine was go to GameStop because he didn't like Sonic's new design with blue arms. He made a
Oh.
petition about it, and he used to go into places that would sell Sonic Boom. I guess that was the name of the game.
Yeah.
And he would put an insert that would give Sonic his flesh tone arms or like a little boycott sign. So he got kind of thrown out.
Oh darn.
And this is one of the instances where a person tried to stop him.
Don't call anybody.
Don't call anybody.
If you didn't see that, uh, if if you're just wondering what happened there, he maced the employee
Oh.
or pepper spray, and it was funny because he got arrested for this,
Yes, that's assault.
and he said that he tested on himself. He sprayed it on his arm, and it
What
kind of
the
burnt a
hell?
little. He didn't
Yeah,
see
I'm
the
sure.
problem. Now we're still on the whole like because of how the world is now and how he was a trans Tom girl, whatever. He got
Right.
he got some people on his good side, bad side, but altogether, a lot of people thought he was a fucking weird like guy, but they never like saw him in the light of man, fuck you, Chris. It was more like man, feel bad. Internet created him,
Yeah.
you know, until a certain thing got leaked.
Uh-oh.
A call from a girl named Isabella. And Isabella is also a locale. She is a horrible person.
Okay.
Um, now, from the photo you're going to see of her, she kind of looks like, oh, she's, not horribly like gross. Like, how could she be a locale? She's got, boobs and all that stuff.
She looks like a normal girl, is what you're saying?
But she has like, she doesn't bathe. Like,
Oh,
things came out after this came out
gross.
of her. They found out that she was trying to be the king of trolls and try to uh, convince Christian to do
Okay.
something bad.
That's horrible.
Um, and by her master plan was to have him try to have sex with one of her a girl that she wanted to have sex with because I guess she's a lesbian, and she was underage and she was autistic, and it was weird. But then she put an idea in his head
Oh
to do
no.
something.
We proceed
This is the lead call.
towards it more slowly.
So I'm paying the volume for my. I can't. I have a really bad ear because I got sick. Like you can hear my voice. It's hard to hear anything at all. But I could hear you now. Go ahead.
Alright, so anyway, everything, with the events and everything, and I was feeling like I really need a sensual release.
Mm-hmm.
And not too many individuals this side of the arc were coming up to the plate right
Right.
there. So, and then everything was coming into good alignment, and
Right.
it was good. The signs were all there. Even Emmanuel, God, just said it was okay, and it actually got me towards it. And
God said this is okay? Yeah, then you don't have anything to worry about if God himself said this is fine.
Yeah. And so yeah, I gave it lots of time for myself. I was like, okay, so I'll take a time for it. So,
But how did this happen? How did this come about?
well, on which just mainly I was really, really horny, and I need the true and honest relationship to come about. So, obviously, this was one of the best ways to do it, despite it being with the. And I don't want to believe in labels at all, but
Right.
obviously, but the incest fanfics have come true and shit.
I didn't even know there was such a thing. I didn't even know there was incest fanfics. Were there about you and Barbara? I can't believe that. I didn't even think that. I knew that you guys had a good relationship, but I always thought, because I'm not huge on Christery and, whatever, I just thought that the whole Sonetry franchise was very interesting, and that's how I got into you when I was younger, right? But I didn't have any idea that Barbara was, that Barbara and you had that sort of relationship. I never got any of those vibes. But how did you approach her?
Approached her with care and caution.
Hmm.
It was a time approach. So I just gave her comfort and talked with her, and we just branched out slow and steady. And then I encouraged her positively, let her make the first move. She wanted to do it. And
Oh, she did? Really? She made the first move?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow, Barbara. How did she do it, if you don't mind me asking? What was the first move?
I don't remember exactly. Well, that was her first move, but my approach was. I forgot exactly what terminology and approach I used, but I approached with care and caution.
That's good.
And I was direct and upfront with her for the most part.
That's good.
This sounds like a lie.
If you guys don't understand what's going on here, Chris Chan admits to this girl that he had sex with his mother. And now his mother is like 80 something. If you look at videos of her at this time, she is not all there.
Right.
She has that 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
I was going to get some of the videos to show you that, but like me just telling you, like, trust me.
Yeah.
And the thing that it's people have always said that Chris Chan, oh, he's going to fuck his mother, like, because he's weird.
Right.
But nobody really thought he was going to do this. Now, this conversation is 21 minutes. We're not going to hear the whole thing, but there are some key things.
And how did she respond when you approached her? What'd she say?
I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was I think she was partially confused at one point, but then she came around, obviously. But
Yikes.
Yeah. So, senile old lady. I'll just say it. That's sexual assault.
Right. That's
They are
elder
not-
abuse, actually, as well.
And also incest in
Yeah.
yeah. So like I said, like there were trolls helping him. Nell from Kiwi Farms together was running it. He told everyone when he found this out?
So on Friday, I did my stream, and I said that on my stream, allegations had come out in the form of an audio tape and some chat logs that indicated that Christian Weston Chandler had fucked his mother. And if you don't know, Chris is like 39, Barbara is 79. So very big age difference. And on camera, she always appears very out of it. There had been some discussion that maybe she was faking it, mostly from Marvin. And Chris, they both claimed that she was more lively off camera for some reason. But now it's pretty hard to try and say that she doesn't have some kind of issue because Chris has been arrested since then. So,
and we've seen that. We saw that footage of him being arrested,
right?
When we were covering Ralph, because that was Ralph's big moment. Him capturing him being arrested.
But he hadn't been arrested yet on Friday. But I hear this news, and I'm erring on the side of caution, because shit like this has been said before. People have been saying that Chris fucks his mom since 2008, and I'm almost wondering if that has embedded in his brain because he's heard it so much. But even during the Idea Guy stuff, like in 2018, Idea Guy extorted him into making confessional statements that he had raped his mother. And that was not true at the time, I'm sure of it. So even like a couple years ago, like in recent history, there had been these kinds of troll attempts to get Chris to say that he had been having sex with his mother.
So basically, when these got leaked and all that stuff, people were like, hold on. Maybe you didn't do this.
So I err on the side of caution. I say I'm going to wait until Chris gets online and explains what happens. And to my surprise, he gets online and he just says, "Oh, actually, let me just quote him directly because I have his signal up still, and if I need to reference it, I'll throw it through it. We haven't talked much since Friday, and I stopped talking to him altogether on Saturday, so it's not that big of a deal." Okay. So I ask him, I give him the audio and the screenshots of the messages, and I say, I need you to tell me if this is real or not. And he says, "Hey Josh, well this is indeed a major shocker of a leak. But firstly, let me state directly with you that I have told this only to one person outside the temple." And I thought the temple was like a name of like some gay trolling clique or whatever. But the temple is what he calls his house. So outside of him, his mom, and his dogs, I guess. And he says, and second, Josh Moon, yes, it is true. The sex was consensual with Barbara. So I'm like, okay, so this is all real then. That's fucking wow. I like even now, like you say, Christian Weston Chandler had sex with his mother, and it doesn't sound like a real statement. It kind of like sounds like bullshit. So it's hard to process. So he does. He says that, like I said, that it was consensual. That and this, like even then, it's like okay, so he had sex with Barb, but Barb in like the early Chris videos always had like a weird relationship with Chris, and we know for a fact that Chris didn't get along with her for years because she was very like possessive and needy and would force him to like cuddle with her in bed. And if he didn't do that, like she would yell at him for not cuddling with her. So they always had like a weird.
That should not be a thing,
right? Yeah, that's weird.
So even at this point, I'm thinking like, okay, he fucks his mom. Well, let's take this one step at a time and figure out what the fuck to do. Because at this time, I still have the GoFundMe and everything to take care of, and I don't know what to do with that on Friday.
The GoFundMe was for him to go to this convention.
Okay.
And he was going to be a special guest, and he wanted to drive there. And he's like, Noel's like, look, I could set up GoFundMe, and you could probably fly down there.
Right.
And he says that it's Bella. So my immediate concern just then is like, okay, so now Chris is might be arrested. People are going to try to get him arrested because they're going to immediately assume that based on how Barb acts on camera that she has dementia, and they're going to assume that that he took advantage of her, and they're going to try to get him in jail. So that's what we're looking at. And I tell him basically what his rights are as an American citizen. I tell him what the process is, that he might get arrested, that social services might come by and take her. Told him like what his rights are, that he can request an attorney, he can remain silent, that kind of stuff. In retrospect, I'm sure at this point I'm just wasting my fucking time, because I have a big revelation later on that I'll get to, but that's my initial reaction. And then to my surprise, well, actually I didn't know what to expect really, but a couple hours later, after he confirms that the police had been by, he says that he gets a emergency protective order from the Greene County Sheriff's Department. And what has happened is that he has been removed from the house. He's no longer allowed within 300 feet of the property, and he's not within 300 feet of Barbara. And Barbara has been taken to the hospital to be inspected for any kind of like abuse.
Right.
So he's in his car and he doesn't know what to do, and he quickly arranges with people that he's going to go ahead and arrange living situations with someone, his aunt, like an aunt and uncle, I'm pretty sure. And I think they live in Richmond. So I think that's sorted out. He's going to stay there until August 5th, which is when the EPO ends, and he's going to go to Richmond. So he hightails it to Richmond. I tell people that it's true. And at this point, I'm concerned, like, okay, I don't want to be called in. I don't want to be subpoenaed as a witness against Chris. So I'm going to try and say as little as possible. And then, but later that night, he gets there, and there's a police officer in Richmond at the property of his aunt and uncle, who is there to tell him that he's not welcome on the property. So at some point, either he misunderstood them when they said that he could come over, or they had heard about what he was arrested for, or something to that effect, and they rescinded their invitation that I'm mixing up people in my head right now because the fucking sun is in my eye. Give me a sec. Anyways, he gets there and the police are like, you can't come on the property. So now Chris is in Richmond and he doesn't know what to do. And he texts me and he says that they told me that I can't come over. And I'm like, okay, well, you have to get a hotel, right? And he says, well, I don't have any money. So it's like, okay. And sure enough, Chris has negative $200 in his bank account because I happen to know what his last purchases were. I don't think many people know this because I don't think I've told many people.
Sure, it's pretty stupid.
What do you think it is?
Either sex stuff or video games.
Chris has been buying sex toys like a lot this year.
God, you're learning so quickly.
Perfect. He access to his email and he just doesn't give a fuck. So he's like on AdamandEve.com buying sex toys and shit.
That's exactly what popped in my head.
Like a custom print of like Sonichu playing cards. And then he bought like latex, like costume apparel. By the way, I got a receipt today saying that they had shipped his latex costume for the BronyCon. So he spent like hundreds of dollars he didn't even have on apparel and collectibles and handmade shit and like sex toys and like ladies' lingerie and all this shit. So now he doesn't have money for a hotel. And I'm like, okay. This is now a certified Class A emergency. I will disperse you all your fucking GoFundMe money to tide you over for this event.
And wash your hands.
Not going to BronyCon anymore. So I use Zelle, and I'm going to send him $1,000. But the problem is that it takes, depending on what day you send it on, depending on if the recipient is a person that you've sent money to before, it takes a while.
Okay.
So I tell him, Chris, you're going to have to sleep in the car tonight. You're going to have to sleep in the car. When he planned to go to the Brony convention, he intended to sleep in the car on the way there. And I said, Chris, you're going to have to sleep in the car tonight. So find a nice place, a quiet place, and in a park or something, in a parking lot, and sleep there under the stars. And consider your actions. Consider that you have taken these actions, and now you've fucked everything up beyond all comprehension, and you might be going to jail. Just spend one night under the stars to think about this. And he says, okay, I will do that. So that is...
He doesn't do that.
Friday. Friday is now over. At least for me. I'm recounting this by my time.
Okay.
But actually, it's not even over because I'm laying in bed, right? And I can't sleep because I'm currently at some stage of grief. I'm going through personal tribulation at this time. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like... this is fucked up. And then I get more messages from Chris. And he's telling me that Bella, who is the person who's in the call where Chris is disclosing that he fucked his mother, and I've still not listened to the call, but
That's
as
something
people
that we
are
just
like,
listened to.
initially people were having some doubt about if Bella was or if I was responsible for this. And I'm thinking, like, I didn't listen to the call, but at any point does, like, Bella say, don't have sex with your mother? And apparently at no point in this call does Bella say, don't have sex with your mother. That's a bad thing to do. So I'll get into that later. I'm not going to go deep into the whole Bella shit right now. That needs to be processed further before I can commit to that. But
Basically, what he's talking about is when they found out
Thanks.
shit about Bella. Bella has her dad is like a part of like the FBI or something. So she's like she can't get harmed, kind of. What we later
Wow.
find out. Also, uh, she's disgusting. She hurts animals. She has said that she has boiled hamsters before.
Oh, I think we've touched on her before.
Nope.
No. Okay. I
I
heard
probably
about
mentioned
her.
her. Yeah, you probably
Maybe
heard
that's
about
where
it
it is.
because when he got arrested, all the Bella stuff came out too.
Okay.
but in general, the call
And I remember people were saying, "Well, Bella's a piece of shit," and like the main events right there, what Chris did. I don't care if fucking Santa Claus told him to do it. He
calls
still
out
did
there,
it.
and the call is fucking weird, and I did not listen to it. I don't have the stomach for it. But Bella is not telling Chris not to have sex with his mother. But Bella tells Chris that, oh, Chris, it's a misunderstanding. I was hacked, and the trolls got my audio from my phone. And Chris says, I sorted it out with Bella, and she explained to me that the trolls hacked her phone and got the audio, and it's not her fault. And I'm
How many times he's done like been with trolls and they try to cover it up, and he's just so dumb. He's just okay.
laying there at 3 a.m. in my bed. I'm fucking exhausted. I'm just like, this guy
Through
has
this.
learned not a single fucking thing in 15 years.
Nope.
He hasn't learned a single thing ever. And I'm just like, okay. And I'm not even like, okay. I'll tell you what I said to him. Let's scroll up.
Okay.
Um,
You're a
Bella,
freaking
also
idiot.
known as 10th Anonymous on Instagram, is part of Caden's group, and she recently joined Wildcat and other outcasts that have proven to be toxic or bad. I explained that Bella was a troll, and the first time he showed me Bella's profile on Instagram, I told him it was a troll. And I say that she's just fucking with you. Where the fuck? Oh, he's talking about the mall. He's talking about how he wants to go to the mall and shit at this point. I'm still waiting for...
A lot of this stuff is like real time too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, by the way, Bella has stepped forward and she has figured out who caused the leak. She also talked it out with Wildcat. And by the way, Wildcat made a video with some random fucking audio conversation he had with Chris. And at the end, he just says, Noel convinced Chris to have sex with his mother. I know because I'm a troll. And then now he's asking me to make sure that we don't allow a threat on him because he didn't have anything to do with Bella. He's begging me not to get doxxed on the fucking forum while he's actively trying to like promote fucking splinter sites and say that I caused Chris to fuck his mother. I will absolutely allow that guy to get whatever shit's coming his fucking way. And
I just love how the guy you're messing with the guy that's running Kiwi Farms, saying
Yeah.
that oh no, he was the cause of it, and then he's like, don't dox me. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna stop people from
Okay.
doxing?
so he comes back and he says that Bella and Wildcat made up, and Wildcat, Psychic Espion on the forum is Wildcat, and Wildcat verified that Bella is telling the truth and shit. And I say, anyways, I'll see, or he says, anyways, I'll see you later. Bella wasn't the cause of the leak. And I said, Bella caused the leak. How don't you get this? I don't understand. She's the only one who had it. It's her voice. How do you not understand? And Chris says, I get the possibility, but she has stepped forward with her side, and it's worth looking into. And I just say, bro, all these people are fucking with you. Your Twitter friends, Bella, the Discord people, these are all people trying to fuck with you for internet fame.
Huh.
You're talking to someone who is trying to get you put into prison for years. They will haul you away in handcuffs. I don't understand how you can fall for the same tricks again you first saw 10 years ago. And he says, I'm not falling for trickery. I said, you confessed to a crime to a person who has now gotten you kicked out of your home, and you may have criminal charges coming, but you're still talking to them like they're not obviously fucking with you. How do you rationalize this? His response is this: I am spiritually guided, and I am of sound mind. And I say to him, you have to cut this shit out now. You had sex with your mom and are now sleeping in a van because you cannot afford a hotel room. The government is looking to take your mom and put her in a senior care home where you will not be allowed to see her. They may charge you with crimes like rape, which could result in you being put in prison or a mental ward. If they put you in a hospital, they will force you to take medication that will make you a zombie. You are not a god, you're not spiritually guided, and these people are not your friends. You're ignoring my good advice because you prefer the trolls who enjoy treating you like a god, and those people want you in jail. Your spiritual guidance got you to have sex with your mom and be kicked out of your home. My advice got you $5,000. If this isn't a wake-up call, nothing ever will be able to wake you up. And he says, I am waking you up. I hear you loud and clear. And I say, I'm not the person you have to convince. Just telling me you understand does not work when you immediately start doing things that hurt you, like trusting Bella or talking to Dylan on Twitter. I really don't think you will ever get it. It's probably too late now anyways. And my Dylan is someone on Twitter who he immediately, like I told him, don't talk to anyone. Don't talk to anyone. How fucking hard is this? Don't talk to anyone. They're going to put you in fucking jail. Do you not understand this? And he goes on Twitter because some verified blue checkmark My Little Pony animator on fucking YouTube says like, hey Chris, did you have sex with your mom? And he's thinking like, oh boy, a person I recognize from YouTube. Why, yes, sir, I did have sex with my mom. And it's like, are you fucking retarded? And it's like, yes, the answer is yes. I have to come to terms with the fact that Chris was fucking retarded. He's always been fucking retarded. And now, on top of everything, on top of learning that he can't learn, I have to realize that he's malicious.
Yep.
He knows that doing these things are wrong, and he doesn't care. Because if he gets away with it, that's all that matters. And I realize that, and I'll take a detour now to show you this. Chris told me earlier this month that...
So, real quick.
He had a girl.
So, if you didn't see, whenever Josh said, I don't care if he gets doxxed or not, immediately in the chat, his name started popping up.
Yeah.
The guy, that's crazy. That's...
Yeah, like I say, 4chan, Kiwi Farms, like certain places like that, if you have no business there, just don't go.
Yeah.
They do the Lord's work sometimes, but other times it's a dangerous place. It's filled with a lot of mines and...
Girlfriend. I'm thinking, okay, that's fucking weird. And
now this is a conversation he had before he found out about him doing
part. Says like, nope, it's totally real girlfriend, and
Oh no, is he saying he has a girlfriend, but it's really his mom?
And we've had...
Now he said, he had a conversation with Noel saying, hey, just to let you know, I have a girlfriend and I had sex with her. And Noel's like, oh.
Sex and all this other stuff. I'm thinking like, okay, whatever. Good for you. I'm glad. I'm happy for you, bro. So he says, okay, now I have a major update to share with you, strictly confidential. The past week up to the Sunday the 27th has been a major game changer for the positive with me. I tell you this in strict...
And mind you, this is all a lie. Keep in mind, this is his mother. But he's not saying it's his mother. But he's putting hints out there like he wants Noel to know.
Just confidence, and I trust. I do not want a word of this on the Kiwi or going public. But I had sex with someone last week, someone of this half of our universe. I worked thoroughly and compassionately with her beforehand and at present. She's physically older than I. If heard, one may say that she's something out of an anime or fan fiction. But yeah, keeping her safe as well. Also, next appointment with my doctor is on the 20th, so I'll get checked in. To be safe, condoms are being used in the intercourse. This relationship was something I have extensively given much deep thought and within myself. I had foreseen this among the infinite possible outcomes long ago. I no longer believe in the... This is the part in retrospect, which is like... I no longer believe in labels that would hinder, and I do not listen to those shadows. This was one of my own choice and of acceptance, and I have no regrets. This feels right and good with her and I. And I asked, really, how'd you meet? And he says, well, I've met her a while ago and was not fully aware at the time, and my allied deities guided me to seek her out and make things go further with great effort. We talked off and on during the time in person, behind a considerable camouflage. She was honest in her emotions, and she wanted to be with me as well. Mutual feelings on good report. This relationship has been from the start offline and in person, I assure you. And I say, oh, do you have any pictures of this girl? Or of you and this girl, by the way?
Which is like, I would ask the same thing.
And he said,
Right,
"Look,
right.
pressing hard for details. I do have photos of my lady friends, but it would be too personal at this time. I did mention she was older than I. She's in the over 50s. So at this point, I'm thinking, like, okay, so he met like a 50-year-old, like, autistic woman in like some sort of weird situation, and they hit it off because they're both like, you know, over the hill and like reprobates and whatever the fuck, and they're like, okay, whatever, fine, good, happy for you, bro.
Yikes.
She definitely does not want to spread around. Understandable. As one of my more curious followers may have gone through my Amazon by now, I have even recently purchased an informative book to add additional guidance. And this thing is something that definitely means something different when you read it the first time and when you read it fucking now. This book, The Ultimate Guide to Sex and Disability for all of those who live with disabilities, chronic pain, and illness. I read this, I'm thinking like, oh, so Chris read a guide for like how to have sex as like a retarded person. Great, wonderful, you know, knowledge is power, Chris. But now in retrospect, it's how to have sex with someone who is
The more
disabled.
you
So I was
know.
like, oh, okay. Thank you to Miriam Kaufman, Corey Silverberg, and Fran Odette, by the way, for this wonderful how-to guide on how to have sex with retarded people. So I say in reply,
Okay.
I'm not trying to press, just curious. It's good you're both into things like anime. And I assume that they're into anime because he says that she's like a person from an anime. So I'm thinking like, oh, so she's like a Spurg, like May, who acts like an anime character. And he says, no, actually, she doesn't watch much anime or animated series or even television these days, for that matter. Adam West was one of her good favorite people back in the 60s, however, as it was for her son back then. So this is the one that really threw me for a loop even then. I'm thinking like, okay, number one, Adam West is like 60s, right? Isn't he like the
Yeah.
1960s guy? So my grandma likes Adam West, so that's weird. And then he says that she has a kid. It's like, how does a retarded woman have like a son back in the 60s? So I just let it glance off, let it wash over, like whatever. I don't give a fuck. I hope that's cool. I hope it works out, right? And he says that, well, it is, smiley face. I have found great appreciation for her in reading her deeply and in listening to her stories and life adventures. Her high school days were quite fun for her and intellectual. She is worked a lot in numbers and accounting. That's also weird. Like a very dysfunctional autistic woman would not have jobs, would not have
Right.
kids. But so I'm kind of like, but I just assume it's like a troll thing. I really don't think that he's like met up and had sex with anyone, or is just with a prostitute. Maybe she was an accountant before she got addicted to heroin. And is
Wow.
now a crack whore in her 50s. Like maybe that's it.
It's funny because he's bringing up things that would be better than what he did.
That
Yeah.
would work. Whatever. I don't care. Also, you may know what I told you of my lady friend so far, and in the future, I kindly want you to. This is the part that made me, in retrospect, kind of hate Chris, because he says, I want you to figure it out for yourself. Thanks, Chris. I figured it out. What a mystery.
So he wants
what a
people to
twist.
know.
It's like fucking Fight Club at the end. I'm sitting back thinking like, oh yeah, you could replace Tyler Durden with an 80-year-old woman. It would still make sense. what wonderful writing for this season.
Yikes.
As also the few others I've confided strictly with this detail, Don Lachaume and Wildcat are the two others who have additional clues as well. And I mentioned this to my doctor as well, without mentioning her by name directly at all in any event. I will see my doctor on the 20th, so I will get tested to confirm lack of STDs then. She and I have our romps in the sack every 3 nights at present. This makes me sound like a prostitute, too. It does give her something to look forward to. She is very grateful, and I am also appreciative in being able to enlighten her with sex play she missed out from even her exes.
X is meaning his father.
Yeah.
And I say, you should definitely not tell anyone who she is. It can only complicate the
His dead
relationship
father.
when people start harassing her. He says,
Yeah.
Obviously, so it's a good sign you kept it secret so far, but don't take a risk. He says, yes, shush. We are safe as long as this even the obscure details get leaked to the public view or on Kiwi. And I say, good idea. I'd advise you not telling people you trust that, even people you trust, that you have a girlfriend at this point. And he says, I'm not telling anyone else after you, I do promise. And then I looked it up just out of curiosity, and sure enough, Barbara graduated college with a major in accounting. So there is no point, no doubt whatsoever that he is definitely talking about his fucking mother at this point in time. Woof indeed. Anyways.
Now this is another thing. This video covers all this shit, and this is the one thing that like puts a good nail into fuck you, Chris.
Right.
It continues, ladies and gentlemen. It continues.
Seriously?
I was talking to Chris. I was telling him that he really fucked up. And I tell him that he should take a day, sleep in the car, and I will figure out something tomorrow. So even at this point, I'm still like, I think that he needs to go into a home at this point, but I'm thinking like, I'll help him get there until like I don't want him on the fucking street until he gets picked up. So
Submission Christian on the street.
next morning, and I didn't think about the girlfriend.
Be worse than
stuff
Daniel
until
Larson.
after, so I'm not like angry at him at this point. I checked the email, and again, I have access to his email, and I noticed that he has a recent email from before that conversation where I tell him that he should sleep. Well, actually, after the conversation where I tell him I should sleep in the car, he should sleep in the car. But before he tells me about Bella, I noticed that there was an email sent while I was in bed that Barbara Chandler had sent him $750. And I asked Chris, and let me fast forward to that. I said, did you ask your mom to send you money? That is probably a violation of the EPO. He says, I did not ask her to send me money. I have refrained from contacting her at all and continue to do so. So I follow up. I ask, so she sent you money on her own? And he says, she did not send me any money. I managed to find blessings in the minimum abundance I needed. Meanwhile, I presently have a little over 5 hours to kill, and both the favorite malls around here, CTC and Regency Square, don't open until 11. So I sent him a picture of the receipt saying Barbara Chandler sent you $750. And I said, do you have control over her bank accounts? And he says, yes, I have online control, and this was an emergency. I planned on sending the $750 back to her account after the $1,000 gets into my account. So he couldn't spend even one day in his car after he has been evicted from his fucking home. He violates his EPO not even within 24 hours, like within 6 hours of receiving it, he violates it. After I explained to him what to do, just word for word, here's what you do. You don't fucking steal her money. So, I look at the EPO, and it very specifically says that not only are you not to have any kind of social contact with her, you are to refrain from doing any kind of property theft, which I assume includes wiring money from her fucking bank account without her permission.
I did not even think of that.
Because you can't fucking talk to her.
That's
so I just block him
true.
at that point, and I send the email to the police, and I say, look, you violated his EPO. Fuck this.
Yep.
Because he lied to me. He lied to me.
Throw
again
him
in
under
that
the jail.
conversation. He said that he found it. Let me requote that again. Meanwhile, I managed to find blessings in the minimum abundance I needed. You managed to find $750 in your mom's fucking bank account, and you wired it to yourself. That's not a blessing. That's not a work of God.
That's
you
theft.
fucking stole from her. And he knows this because I know he knows when it's wrong to do stuff, because he doesn't tell me when he fucks his mom. He hides that because he knows it's wrong and would cause problems. He doesn't tell me he stole from her because he knows it's wrong and would cause problems, but he thinks he can get away with it if he can just lie right enough. So it's not like a retard problem. Like him thinking he can actually get away with it is the retard problem.
There you go.
Him
That's
lying
fair.
is something that he does consciously. So, that's the end of my contact with him. And I send him to the police. I block him on Signal, and I cancel the wire of $1,000 to Chris.
Good.
So now he's really fucked.
Refund that
He
money.
can't pay it back. So there's no way that he can like replace the money in time or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
And then, by the way, I checked the balance over time, and by the time he's arrested, he spent all of it. All that money is gone. He's got like $1.38 in his account by the time he's arrested, because they send low balance notices as well. So he spent a couple $100 on the hotel reservation. He had $200 in the red already, and then he had like $150 left over, and he spent that within like a day. So he went to the fucking mall and he bought whatever the fuck he was going to buy, and he was out of shit within the very first day of having the money. Just gone. Money that he stole from his mother while evicted from his house for fucking her. You know?
So
That's horrible.
So, of course, he got arrested. Now, there's videos of it, but so the one thing is funny. The judge said, no, you're a male.
Yeah.
Two, when he was his first viewing of the case before it would go to trial, all that stuff, he was being sentenced to stay in prison or jail, and he kept interrupting the judge, saying, well, I need to go back home and get my Legos.
Oh,
Obviously, they said, fuck you.
yeah.
Now, when he was in prison, he wrote letters.
We're one day off it being a year
now,
to this.
I can't find anybody just reading the goddamn letters,
Right.
but the closest thing I can is like this.
Hi, I was calling about the standards about the Chandler case.
It's been certified a grand jury.
Thank you very much.
So people were doing that. They were asking about Chris Chan's, how far along is it? And it was going to grand jury. That meant he was being charged with a crime. They weren't just going to let him go.
Yeah.
Many blessings and enlightenments to you all. Yeah, fuck your enlightenments, you sick fuck. I take pen in hand today. Firstly,
Like this guy.
personally express my humble appreciations and gratitude unto all of ye for all of the genuine concern and open-hearted kindness over the past year, during this time, and over the years. I don't know who's been sending Chris Chan open-hearted kindness. Whoever is doing that deserves. During the time, I have received positive and good vibe letters from over 100 of ye all. That just reduces my faith in humanity, that he's received over 100. I also put in writing that I shall never
we'll see how
ever
true that
reveal
is.
or share anyone's name and or addresses from all of that, never online anywhere, never in the publishing of my in-jail goddess log pages, which is absolutely separate from my little address booklet, and never to the general public, period. Oh, you know what? It's great to see Chris Chan has morals here. He's keeping private in Chu Temple for Barbara's health and being, and even to and for a reunion between her and I, and so on. No! Fuck no. No one wants you to have a reunion with your mother, who you've admitted to doing the sickest things to. Oh, God, this is so weird. On to the next paragraph. The last
I love that, like, during this little area over here. Hold on.
or a reunion between her and I, and so on. No! Fuck no.
Do you see? That's Barb.
Yeah.
No one wants you to related within the early pages of my goddess log, and unto all of ye before. I have long foreknown and foreseen of our separation on July 30th, 2021, as well as her eventual accident losing the van. And yes, regardless of I saving her soul and guiding her to her Rosachoo form/body, even the passing on of her human body, of which still most stubbornly continues to live and linger in the Sonichu temple with redneck refusal to leave. What the
She's made his mind. She didn't like. I guess when he was in prison, she got into a car accident and she survived. And he's like, "Oh, it's because I saved your soul." When I did my deed with my dick.
The actual fuck. The next page. It is indeed clear and obvious, especially to all with spiritual and psychic ability, that she is sickly, and her passing on is to be from emotions. Yet again, she still lives, and zombie-like as well. And this was and is fact throughout the majority of branching alternate timelines since August 2021, where she had died in most of them by now. I'm assuming he's talking about Barbara, and that he's basically saying that he wants her to die. I knew this would be weird, but this has actually surpassed all my Chris Chan expectations. That being stated, it has been clear and obvious due to that Barbara, her human body, pre-death, and I absolutely cannot be together again due to the paradoxes, regardless of the legal restraining order imposed in this timeline. Thank God there is a legal restraining order. My body and I have wept time after time and again in processing and accepting all of that over these months, over Barbara. And yes, deeply, despite that, my body knows these facts, yet wishes for the impossible one last in-person moment with her, and triggers the tear-inducing emotions / feelings. Pile that on top of all of your prayers wishing for the same thing, in which it is about impossible, like same timeline past and future individual being together in the same time frame without a travesty befalling the past tense version in paradox ruling.
Gibberish, gibberish, gibberish,
Yeah.
made up words.
Now there is another note where he started saying he realized in prison, Mikey, that he's really Jesus, of Jesus of Nazareth, and he's the reincarnation of Jesus. And if you didn't know, Mikey,
Yeah.
Jesus had a mother.
Yes.
Whatever the fuck that means. He now signs his shit. Chris Chan, Jesus Christ of Nazareth's Sonichu goddess. He is gone. Like, his mind's gone. He thinks he's Jesus now. Because he sees the prosecution of Jesus and his life the same way. The same thing happened. And the dimensional merge and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, lo and behold, he got let out. They acquitted him of the charges. And I think it's because for time served, because he was there for 2 years almost.
Not long enough.
And when he left, he was radio silent. Nothing on any like posts or nothing. Nothing. And we saw like certain things, like people seeing him in, Target or a Walmart with his Sonichu medallion and all that shit. Then out of nowhere, he made a live stream.
Oh boy.
This is the boss, and I'm sick of waiting. Get your crap together and stop following those twerps. Prepare for stupid. Make it lucid. Prepare for stupid. Make it lucid. Oh, we'll focus on one mouse. Once we get it, we'll rule the house.
What the hell?
Your work will never get paid for it. Prepare for stupid. Make it lucid. Prepare for stupid. Make it lucid. We're Team Rocket and we lose to the SPCA. For what? I don't know. Have we ruled the Earth yet? What's our plan worth, but we're not the man? We epic fail in land. Longest of time and oh, yay and merrily to everyone. Welcome to this. That song you just heard, that was dedicated to all the lingering and lost toxic haters, fakers, and darkest sinners that came from the 1218 half of our Earth that has been bugging us for the longest of time, and Why are they still lingering? You're not supposed to be doing that. Come on, get out of the picture already. You're long gone. Anyway, yes. With the ultimate miracle chaos control, I ascend and make my return to the internet in all that is good and well-being. I am divine and connected to everything, and I know and not know at the same time.
What?
Between the consciousness, the subconsciousness, and the unconsciousness. I know all. I see all. I foreknow all. I've been there, done that. Everything. So now...
This is the most sassy Jesus I've ever seen.
Something. That's a whole lot of something.
It's funny too because, like, all right,
Ugh.
once again, if you're trans, don't get offended by this, or if you're a left-wing person that colors your hair, but normally if you have blue hair, you're fucking crazy.
With that, we're still amidst our Dimension Merge completion and the moment of Futurast. As you shall learn shortly enough with the events that happened back in late February 2006. But for now, we are on the road, on the road.
On the road.
We're on the road, and we try some more to get to the place that's worth fighting for.
What?
Team and working out, finding our power that's inside. Back in Quickville.
So it was a weird fucking stream.
Yeah.
And obviously he had help with this. Obviously he doesn't know anything about green screen. He doesn't know how to do all this stuff.
Right.
So supposedly somebody in prison, the people that were getting those notes, for the most part, they were a part of this group. I forgot what they're called. Sorry, guys.
We love Chris Chan, and we should be in jail as well. Maybe.
Well, they kind of set it up where they contacted him saying, "Hey, we're going to make medallions, and then you're going to get a cut of it." And then ever since that business accusation, they've been kind of helping him. Even when he's in public, he's with like this small girl, and nobody knew if they were girlfriend or boyfriend, but obviously he was acting like they were. But they have a nickname for her. I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's not that important. Right now, anytime that he's in public, you see her. She could be a handler.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying. But I wanted to mention that Trolls didn't stop.
Oh, I just got it because it's on now. Oh, yay. Aye.
You did bad stuff to your mom.
Yeah. Basically, like, you raped her.
Yep.
And you got let out. How do you feel about that? And he's just sitting there like,
yeah, it's like he realizes it. Probably does realize it. Probably
no,
knows
he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to reference anything.
Right.
Like, and he finally does.
Really?
Kind of. I'm trying to find the video right now. He
Okay.
mentions her um in the stream.
Huh.
Like, hey, like, oh, like this is what happened.
Where is
And
he living now?
He's living the people that are helping him out gave him like a place to live.
Okay.
And
gave him a place to live because they're helping him out, but he's helping them out because he's giving them permission to do his medallion, and it's officially Chris condoned.
Do it grip. Is it wet? Do it clap. Jiggle. That should be wobbling like a fresh tiramisu. Like a fine gelatin. Diameter. Do it squirt. How far? Blast radius. Is it safe? Do it hurt? What it sound like? Do it sting?
What?
Will Jesus not even acknowledge the pain that this story has caused her? You hurt her terribly. She raised you, and now she's all alone. Her pain is real and will not end.
I do admit the time in jail put quite the emotional pain on Barbara, but she needed to further develop as an individual.
You lie! You're a fucking liar!
She may be mentally unstable considering the age, but she's actually much stronger willed than that. She's actually done very well. I'm very pleased to say that she has passed the test. And so if everybody among the good...
No, the story that you used is what hurt her. It is a shame she will not outlive. At least acknowledge that you hurt her for selfish reasons.
So, there'll be no refunds given, and that's not a challenge. So please don't even ask. I hope you all have a safe, lovely, and blessed and
Merry Christmas!
all of you are blessed.
Cheers, Lord, rolling around there on the barrel fire. You're cross sleeping around your nose.
Huh. This guy sucks.
I'm still trying to find the damn thing. Oh, here we go. Hopefully. This is from Kiwi Tapes. It's not Kiwi Farms. There's a difference. Kiwi Tapes, he can't read like me.
This is Christy Weston, Chair Sergeant Prime here. And right now I'm gonna set the record straight. So just so y'all know, straightforward and blunt, to the point. The reason I went to jail, the charge I was charged with, I was innocent. There never, ever, 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 ever was any sense between Barbara and I, period. I was innocent. I have a few bullet points to go through anyway. But shoot, I mean, where did we go to end up here? So obviously we got all the haters and fakers and the toxic sinners that tried to manipulate me and so much. I mean, just that was a mess of good grief right there. Why did y'all have to do that? You all really.
You've admitted it multiple times.
Me,
yeah.
And just that was a whole mess up. I mean, shoot. Even y'all with your freaking smut fictions. I know some of you out of the minority that are the worst. Out of the majority being actually good. Okay? You out of the minority. You've written those smut fan fictions.
I'm not proud of.
I feel so. Just enough said right there. But hey, you're never gonna make me commit. Period. And that was the attention that Bella had in all her chopped and screwed up recordings, with all the attention and manipulating me into that. But hey, I foreknew she was gonna do that. I tested her at the time.
Oh, did you?
I treated.
mind you, Noel told us. He believed her.
Her, like, just as a friend, try to get her to be on the good side. But obviously she failed. Just like I foreknew the relationship between Dylan and Taylor, that was not going to last. He abused her. I let divine intervention and timing and everything just let me go to jail, spend my time suffering and spending the time for your sins, you fucking toxic ones. And I meditated and learned everything. I am Jesus Christ reincarnated. I am the one avatar.
His eyes are so
and
dead.
I see that there is nothing but good and righteousness and light-powered individuals, and encouraging all the neutrals to be
like there
good,
is no
period.
light there.
Just like I'm trying to do in this video and statement right now, saying the record straight. But
Straight.
I was proven innocent.
I'm straight.
And they couldn't place me anywhere, which is why they kept me in jail for so long, because they didn't know what to do with me. They didn't know what to do with somebody was freaking autistic that you weren't putting your words in.
Like I said, he somehow, through all this, he still uses that as a shield.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't know what to do. They just kept me in jail. They didn't know where to place me. But fortunately, they did know where to place me eventually, so that happened. I'm safe and doing better, okay? But I did nothing wrong, and only the certain individuals online, they had wrongfully manipulated and controlled me and my own narrative, but no more. I take control of my own narrative from now on, not you. Not you lot of haters and fakers.
Okay.
I am a much better individual than that. Y'all should have known better of me than that.
Chris, we suspected you of doing this because we do know you better than that. You have a long history of degeneracy in that field. From
And
Megan
lying.
basically begging you to not touch her when you hung out, to violating your own PlayStation 3. After all that, you think that we're supposed to believe that you're incapable of doing what you were accused of. You even alluded to having terrible thoughts about Megan, and you might have acted on them if you didn't draw She Came for Quick. Just as naive as ever, I see.
That is enough with the mislabelings and the misconceptions. That's enough. And the whole lot of the set's commentary was me being misled by the suggestion that those individuals, especially those theoretical exes of mine. And I was proven innocent by court of law and released. Simple as that. And also just putting this out there, just do not be an ableist. I mean, those of you neurotypical, thinking you're able, whatever, there is at least one thing that is totally disabled about you, period. So do not hate others for things that you are yourself, period. There is no need to hate on anyone, or even yourself. A flaw is a flaw, a blessing is a blessing, and a flaw can be a blessing in disguise. So you meditate on that.
What?
Stop hating for such a flaw. And I am a living, breathing individual, and I am not to be objectified in any way anymore.
He sounds like a retarded Yoda.
Yeah! That's a good... Wow, that was good.
Huh.
But yeah, in that, Bella was the real sex criminal in that. She really wanted to try to get me in something. She's the real criminal. Fucking bitch! Calling her out! Call her out! Isabella Jenkins. She's the real sex criminal, period. She did a whole mess of adulteration and manipulation and things in her own words and attitude and insinuations and everything. Okay?
This is the only thing I'm with Chris on. Isabella is guilty. She, too,
Right.
should have faced some sort of legal repercussion, and if she did not have a wealthy, well-connected family, then she probably would have. Pretty sure that her dad is retired from some form of United States intelligence service, and as I said before, runs a cybersecurity firm. But everything else Chris is saying is just pure delusion and lies. Just one big sympathy-garnering attempt. I also want to state that I believe this video was edited by Chris, because of the quality of edits being far worse.
But to end this on a more positive note, so the girl y'all had seen me with in the past few weeks, I'll tell you a little something about her. She's a friend of mine, and I refer to her only as Flutter, because she likes Fluttershy, okay?
I met her in Lynchburg. She got in touch with me while I was in jail. And we managed to meet. We managed to bond and connect with each other as friends. And she is literally 30 years old despite her physicality.
Okay, so this is the little girl.
Yeah.
Just pretty much.
That's probably a troll.
Right there, letting you know about
Yeah.
that.
Or
I
a part of
say all that.
the group
Clear
that's
the
helping
air.
him.
Okay.
There is nothing wrong with being associated with me, period. I am sick and tired of being blamed by anyone, including and especially by those of whom I appreciate. And I do have friends that do have great appreciation of me, which more than I can say than some. I mean, you all, even Megan Schroeder, had your chance to actually be kind and compassionate and friends with me for a longer run.
Look, the face.
He's confused.
That's what I said right there.
I forgot my
I need to get that off.
head. My headache.
Otherwise, I might have had a sleepless night.
It's just it's all the teaching.
Though he has dubbed his gal pal Flutter, you will often hear me refer to her as Cabbage Patch, one of the greatest white knights in Chris Chan history. Though Chris says that they're not dating, these pictures are telling a different story.
So that's where we're at now with Chris Chan.
Oh, boy.
We're probably not gonna cover him until he kills somebody or something.
In Minecraft.
Obviously, throughout this whole thing, I didn't cover everything.
Right.
It's just a good sum up. You know, the blue spike thing that could have gone a video itself.
Right.
You know, the video where he's acting like he's not autistic, which is one of the funniest videos ever made, because everyone uses that as like that the good ending of Chris Chan, but yeah, I think it was called Trolling the Trolls or something.
Okay.
But yeah, it's sad. The whole thing is sad.
Yeah, it's all sad. He's a horrible person, but like I feel like he was led down this horrible path that made him an even worse person.
Yeah.
And now he's just a retarded Yoda. I don't know why.
Now, I mentioned the whole rolling trolling. Let's pretend that this is the ending of Chris Chan.
Alright, we're coming to you live from Quickville today. We're over at the Quickville Pavilion. The Hedgehog Boys and Master Christian Mayor, they perform here every Friday night, and it draws a crowd. It's very good, you know. This gets me some business from amongst the population that comes around.
He's trying to act like he's a normal person, that this is all a joke.
This is our graffiti wall in the middle. Fantastic from here. It all looks very good. I tell you what.
So 90s.
How do you feel about President Obama's foreign policies with countries like Iran and Iraq?
Yeah, I think he's doing okay, you know, establishing good communications and giving them what they require. Yeah, I think he's doing a very good job with his foreign policies.
President Obama, being a family man, what is your opinion on his character?
I think he's a regular stand-up family guy. Yes, the old Timberlake drugstore. It's been in the drinking law. This here is the first bar to open up. The Rapture in the city of Quickville. Also goes by the nickname of R2. Downtown Quickville. Hey, Santos, man. The man. You're nothing. Tasmanian Dev. Arg!
He's always hanging around. This has all been a trick. You have been trolled.
Oh.
Well, the truth comes out. I've never been autistic. I work 40 hours a week to support my parents. This has all been a trick. You have been trolled.
That would be the greatest troll.
Yeah, because everyone's like, "Oh my god, you know what? Good job." But no, sadly, he fucked his mother. Anyway, Mikey, that's been Chris Chan.
And I hated every minute of it. And be sure to go to Banana Bear Show on YouTube and check out all of our other videos. Many videos. Many people like very similar to this, and it's very sad.
You've been trolled.
Be sure to like the video and let us know what you think of Chris Chan and who we should cover next, and maybe these long form content or something similar. And if you want to be a member of our membership, I don't know,
Our cult. Our bear
Corm's
cult.
cult.
Banana Bear cult. Come on.
You said bear. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, BBK. Banana Bear cult.
Okay. Well, you can do that, and I'll read your name at the end of every video. So, yeah. See you in the next one. Bye.
You've been trolled.